I wasn't saying for you to leave. I was saying that I'm streaming. I actually had it on the black screen. I did that before where I had the screen up. So now when I jump on the stream, I have my music on. They can't hear it. So I at least can hang out and they can see me. So what I'm saying is when you guys come on, if you didn't have everything going on, you could be going crazy in the background. We could show the party, the pre-stream party. How do you think that sounds? Because you don't know when people jump in here. So nope, not right now. From Wyoming, what's up? Oh, Jeanette, what's up? How you doing? You definitely got my attention. I'm just listening to some KRS-One in the back. What'd you say? It's Jeanette. Okay. What is it like in Wyoming? I've never been. I don't know much about it. All right, let me get this off my air. I'll go full mask. All right, guys. Yeah, okay. Hey, so I'm here. I'm Darnell just talking. I come on here. I've been coming on here every night for 55 nights. Just so much to learn about what it is to stream. Can you close that door, please? It's a lot to learn about what it is to stream and to come on here, but I try to just stick to who I am and have really good energy, positive energy, and we have what's called the stream team. Few people, handful, a little bit more, that come on here and they help to support, the stream. I do have a few moderators that come in, but like I said, we've had all types of discussions from gaming to wrestling. I'm an 80s baby, so definitely some music conversations like hip hop. And I really wish, and this is really based on the audience, but I really wish we could have deeper conversations going further back than that, because I'm definitely a music historian. One of my latest things that I do is, I don't know if you guys are familiar. I should just show you. Give me 1 second. I have pulled this up before, but not a lot of people know about this. Okay, so let me just lower this music. Sometimes when I watch the stream back, I get super frustrated that the music was playing the whole time. But this here is the National Jukebox. And I think on the previous page they refer to it as Citizen DJ. But the National Jukebox, what makes this so important right now is that we're living in a day and age where copywritten materials fall out of copyright. And for the first time in music history, based on 100-year copyrights, we're able to recreate, change, use. And I have tested this out. I only got in trouble one time on YouTube, and I could still dispute it because the sound came from the actual jukebox, and it was they flagged it. But you could come in here. I'll just sometimes I'll just kind of browse around in here, but I know I put this on a recent video. So essentially, if you check, if you you got to understand the laws, because they have more than that in here. But if you see something, you can search by year. So you see this year says 1922, pretty safe to be played, and that could kind of help our content or gain inspiration where that just hasn't been there. We haven't had this opportunity to do so. It's some really good sounds. It brings us back to the earliest of recordings. 'Cause that's also the cool thing. The turn of the century, um, all of this started. These are the original recordings. So it's cool to listen to what people were listening to and thinking about, you know, at that time. And then you got to be careful, 'cause I've heard a lot of songs and, they don't, I wouldn't say that they don't trigger me. But I could tell you that this current political climate and world would not be ready for listening to some of the songs that's in the jukebox. And I know if more people knew about it, they'll probably protest and try to get this taken down. But this is it's a treasure to be able to go 100 plus years in the past. Just I tend to do this. I'll search for something and then I'll go through the years. So like this recording right here is literally from 1900. Crafty Blocks, Brookhaven. What's up? How you doing? I was just showing briefly the national jukebox. I don't know if I wanted to keep it. I didn't want to keep it a secret. I think it's good information for people to understand, because when I come on here, I do talk a lot about the struggles, and one of the big struggles is how we deal with art and copyrights. And obviously, if you create content or you hear other creators, I mean, they talk about copyright claims and copyright strikes, and not much in our lifetime has ever been up for grabs. Somebody could just put a stamp on it, trademark, copyright. But now we're at the point where this site is housing. It's put on by the Library of Congress. So this is the government site, loc.gov. And our government in the United States is posting and keeping these as more or less a treasure for us, a library for us to use and to utilize. So when you're making content, you could come in here and you can download the stuff in MP3. Not everything is available in MP3, and you'll get clicks and pops. And so like, listen to this. Mod, please. King Z, you didn't even come say hi. I have a couple mods. They'll be in here. So that click and pop is kind of, that's kind of out there. Mod, please. I don't know you. I don't know. Look, I'm not there yet where this thing is so jumpy. Do I know you? Are these coins? Oh, I didn't see that. I did not see that, Crafty. See, my mods are here. My mods come in. Oh, you done call the security. You don't know what you did. You don't know what he did. King, why'd you have to wake up? Why'd you wake him up? Crafty, just to answer your question, that is a record. I'll make it larger. I no warranty on the quality of this site. But I'll make it as large as I can for you. That is a record. This is a record, and that vinyl record came out in 1900, and that's why it has all that click and pop sounds. What's going on in here? We done pulled Shadow Black out the shadows. I hope everyone's having a good evening on this Sunday evening. I don't have the same Sunday blues that I usually have. Um, this wasn't. I was just showing this national jukebox. I don't even know how I got there, but guys, settle in. King Z, where you from? Let's get to know each other, man. We do a pretty good job over here with the trolls, so that's why I'm not really on the mod radar. We are a growing channel. It's my 55th straight night of streaming. I have some really good news for you guys. This stream in particular is a pretty hard one for me. Um, Something happened today, and I'm gonna tell that story very shortly. Uh-oh. See? Oh, why you calling me that? Why you calling me that? You know something I don't know? You got some sugar? You know something I don't know? No, you could hang out as well. You come in here, just try to behave for the chat for me. As long as you're keeping it positive, I don't really, that stuff doesn't bother me. But what's up to you as well? So yeah, I had some interesting happenings today, and as we ride this 100 straight days of streaming down, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what occurs. But today, so let's just call it out. My stream goal, my sub goal, sorry, was 250 subscribers. You funny. Shadow Black, you see this, man? You see what they trying to do to us? Ready or not? Yeah, I don't 999. I don't switch up my game. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I was about to tell a story about earlier today. KD, catch up. You're a victim. Poor you. Victim of what? What am I a victim of? Yeah, you can't switch it up for just because it's 2026. I'm a grown man. What you expect me to do? Oh, poor you. Shadow Black, I don't know what's going on, but Lorinda, how you doing? It was an awesome stream earlier. That was an awesome gift. I couldn't have asked for more. I knew it was real, but it was surreal a little. I knew it was a real moment, but it was pretty surreal for me. A story of being a victim. Oh, okay. No, it's not a story about being a victim. Sorry to bore you. I don't know if I've ever had a victim story that I've told. Tiffany, I remember you. I remember you from earlier. You said bye to me when you were signing off. No, KD, man, no victim stories here. We were all serious about it. Well, I appreciate that. No, so I'll tell you. So the title of the stream, which I, I put some effort into. Usually we have a poll. That's how the stream goes. And on a Sunday night, Sunday nights are usually slow. We don't get that much. So this is a lot of information. So I'll follow the chat as best as I could. So what is the story about? So great. I'm going to get on to it. So earlier today, I'll just tell you what my whole day was, right? So I woke up. I was up late. I woke up and I went to play basketball. By the time I got there, I realized that I expended all of my energy on Saturday. Everything I had, I did. And it was working the land. I had some project. I was pounding some rebar into the ground. I was working on a project that's just been in my head for over a year, and I finally got it done, right? So I was happy and feeling accomplished. Sunday, that's the day when I get a real opportunity to go meet people in the community because a lot of guys come out, sometimes 35 guys. I made out real good in the garden. Tiffany, I hopefully I'll post a video of that, but if not, I'm gonna follow up tomorrow. I usually do at least 3 touch points on YouTube, whether it's a short or a video or a live within one day. So definitely gonna follow up on that. It's starting to come together. So I went to play basketball. When I got there, I felt like this character that I was creating called Old Lettuce. Yeah, rebar, 1/2 inch rebar was freaking hitting it into the ground with a sledgehammer. So I show up at basketball. It was a little off. Um, the games weren't going when I showed up, and I showed up 10 minutes late, and I don't usually show up late. So my day was already like a little staggered. I was there in body. I wasn't there in like soul. I know that. Like I was okay with not being there. Um, yeah, 1/2 inch wide rebar. I think it was number 4. Um, and I was pounding it. I could get to what the project was, but I'm in stages. So I I go to basketball. I knew it wasn't gonna be a good day. Katie, you're funny. I knew it wasn't gonna be a good day because I felt like crap. Like my body just felt like crap. And I pushed through. Had a good showing at basketball. It was the last day, so a lot of these people are going to. I'm not gonna see them until like October. A lot of people, like one guy was like, "Yeah, I'll be playing golf for the rest of the year." You don't. No, don't. What do you mean? Don't cope with me? Nah. You're not a loser. Don't do that. And I don't. It's all good. Whenever I could stop and we could go back and forth, that's fine. Sometimes it's hard to get it out. Sometimes I over talk. But no, hang out, man. It's all good. I want you to get this story so that you understand. So I finished playing ball, and guys are hanging out because it's the last day. It's sort of like junior high school, high school. You're not gonna see these people. It's like our summertime, and these are grown men, and guys range anywhere from 23 years old to 55 years old. Pretty diverse group. Everyone. So I'm usually the last one there. That's my kind of thing, being the first one to show up, last one to leave. Um, like a light on a dark room. That was funny. So, I played really good. I got some wins, even though I wasn't into it. I'm 6'3". At playing at this talent level at this age, you can't teach being a little taller than most other people. It's not like I'm young and I'm playing AAU tournament. So it's really, really not that hard to do well. I just got to give effort. I'm a big effort guy. Oh no, they weren't all Mexican. We did have a Mexican, and I made a funny joke that wasn't an intentional joke. We were talking about another one of our friends that weren't there, and he's Dominican. And I did have a moment where, because every time I'm going back and forth with the guy, it feels like when we're playing the game, he doesn't want to listen to me. So I was like, he acts like he only speaky Spanish. So, and the Mexican guy like chuckled on the side. So that was pretty fun. And I love all people. So yeah, so I come home from basketball, and I played to the point where even though I cooled off for like an hour, my muscles, everything feels like tense and it's burning. I hurt my collarbone, but I had to turn some compost. The way it goes on, at least in this homestead, no one else is really turning compost. That's just me. A lot of the activities are just me. So I said I gotta do it. So I go take a shower, I lay down, I take some ibuprofen, put some ice on my collarbone, and I'm like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do it, I gotta do this. So I go outside and I do the standard. I'm a native from Canadian land. Cool. First Nation people. Okay. So I uh I say to myself, I have to do this at this point. And in general terms, this is the same standard stream. I take my tripod out, my phone, make sure it's charged. I have a little mic now so that I can work with my hands. The chat is usually not this busy. KD, you're a chatter. I like that, but it's hard to walk away from because you got to keep reading. It need to be a. Oh, okay. You Oh, okay. You from the creek. Cool. That's what's up. So I turn on the stream. You wait a couple minutes. No one's there. It's zero. So I say to myself, I gotta turn on the water because I need water to water the compost when I turn it. And I come back and I see 16 views, which is normal for like a spike in the beginning of a stream. But something was off because then it jumped to like 100 something, like on my side, and I'm like, something's off. And all these great people started coming in. They came from the Steinmetz Family Farm, or SFF, and I do remember multiple days where the goat farmer was in the chat while I was doing that type of work, and I would always call them out. When I'm outside, it's hard to look people up that are in the chat. When I'm here, like, I'll just look you up, KD, and say, like, let me see if you got a channel, because my stream is more about promoting what I do from a creative side. I actually don't want to be on camera. That is not my goal. That's not my dream. I'm more of a production kind of person. I like being in the background and have real creative thoughts that can translate into someone else who wants to be a talent. And not to say they have to have ego, but ego comes along with people who need to be in front of the camera and who get feedback from that. For me, I don't necessarily get that type of feedback. I just like to be creative, do my own thing, and post stuff. But apparently that doesn't really appease these algorithms. So anyway, I'm the Goat Father is Justin's second channel. I gotta find the second channel because I went and checked out the first one. I feel like I have come across that channel. When I typed in the Goat Father, do you mind, Lorinda, just pasting it in the chat? Because when you do the search on YouTube, there's so many people with the same type of name that I wasn't able to find the channel. But I kind of put two and two together. It felt like a raid. So the Steinmetz Family Farm, SFF, I think he must have been live and told people. I don't really know the real story, but in my head, there's he shifted people to my direction, and I got a ton of subscribers, met new people, new family. And not only did they just come, they didn't come robotic. They came in with good energy, and they came in talking. I could actually start to give me 1 second, Crafty Devi. I will tell you whatever question specifically you want to know, but I'll give you a overall. You have subscribed. Thank you, KD. Thank you for looking into the channel. So it was tough doing the compost because usually I'm rushing through. The temperature was nice enough that I didn't feel like I was at risk of the pile getting too cold. But I continued to try to do my work, and we spoke through and talked through. And like I said, I got more subscribers on that live than I have in this 55-day experiment, or 54 days of this experiment on the way to my 100 days, which didn't start as an experiment. So it's kind of evolved in real time. But it was, like I said, it was surreal. And the first, I come in and tell my family, my kids, and my wife, and like, they didn't believe it right away. My daughter said some funny message about, like, you must have got some bots. But that was the best part. It was like the opposite of bots. It was real humans, saying real things and asking me about who I am. Stop, mates. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. I love that name too. One of my I was mentioning it earlier. My favorite one of my favorite people when I was in college. She was the goalie of the hockey team. That was her name. Um, all right, so Crafty Devi says he asks, can you tell us about your life and why you started live streaming? Um, the life part is easy. Um, I'm a guy from the Bronx, New York. Um, I lived in the Bronx, New York, pretty much whole childhood. Um, I went to college. I went to a SUNY school in New York, so a state of New York school. So I've traveled around the whole state. Um, I don't want to get too deep into the thick of, like, I've had a lot of interesting life experiences that as I get more comfortable with telling, my full story, I would be more than willing to, put that out there. But essentially, I'm from the Bronx. I moved 60 minutes north about 9 years ago. So I don't live in a city anymore. And what my channel reflects is, I wouldn't say a lot of that journey, because when I moved out, I just moved to the suburbs. I didn't know what was, waiting for me. And as we all went through, hey, what's up, Blue Daffodil? As we all went through, what we went through with COVID, I got super serious about the things that I was already doing, like starting a garden. This is what a garden bed is. This is what this method is. And I got super serious and started, watching these channels seriously and taking on that information. But I'm an interesting person to do that, because I'm actually a software engineer by trade. I played Division III college basketball. I've coached high school basketball. Pretty much all over the place with all these different skills. The career that I wanted to get into was on the media side. That didn't really pan out for reasons of just the timing of when I got out of school, and I kind of needed a job. Thanks for putting that in there, Lorinda. So I kind of needed a job, and I've done a bunch of different things. At one point, I was even I worked at a printing factory, so I actually know how to print anything from T-shirts to pad printing, which is printing on any, like, even on my headphones. If you see a logo that's on like a headphone or anything that's not flat, I know how to print that. I pretty much ran the backside of a promotional printing factory. And all these skills and experiences, and obviously being from the big city, the Bronx, New York City, I've just met a lot of different people, and I've taken a lot of information over the years. So on this journey, YouTube became a thing, and I always seen YouTube as a place to just post stuff, and maybe somebody would, learn from you or just share and bond with you. So I'm gonna answer the second part to what you said, Crafty Devi. Why'd you start live streaming? So when you start a YouTube channel, as you all know, it's not easy. It's not easy for everyone to get, especially people with like a positive message. It's not easy to get the views, or you may not know what you're looking for as far as like a metric. Fox is a good question. I'll answer that in a bit. So you don't really know what you're looking at. I feel like I had an advantage. I feel like that there's something that I could exploit in my background. Why? Well, one, I was a mass communication student, so I've taken audio production, video production, TV production. That's kind of my thing. I'm also a software engineer, so I understand how a lot of these things work. I worked on the web for a while. I understand all types of analytics, and so I feel like I have an advantage. Well, the only place that I don't have an advantage is the number one thing that probably matters, which is this: being on camera and being comfortable with it. And when people see you, they stay, right? So I have fought YouTube when I wasn't streaming, when I was just posting content, to make content that fits into what the algorithm wants you to do. And now I'm saying that from knowing now that the algorithm is super driven towards, if you know the term, the hook, right? The hook is like in a short, like the first 3 to 5 seconds, you gotta hook somebody, right? It has to hook the person. Well, I've gotten frustrated that that's pretty much an AI that's watching the videos, and they're making a decision about whether or not this content is quality to share with people. So they're making a decision for you, and they're making a decision that's preventing me, somebody who may have something to say. I'm an avid YouTube watcher, so I'm in here swiping as well, and I rarely come across people who are willing to get on the camera, have a full conversations. Thank you, Lorinda. So I'm always wondering, like, why is it so hard to, like, to get somewhere? So one day, 55 or 54 days ago, I said, I'm going to try to stream. I'm just going to try it. And what I found was it was the only angle that I was able to understand YouTube giving me back feedback to say, you got impressions, you got views, and those views translate eventually to subscribers. So that's when it dawned on me. It was like, well, you may not want to. Good evening to you. Yeah, I'm live every night. I've been live. This is my 55th straight night. We're going for 100 days at least straight, just cause. So when I started streaming, it wasn't supposed to be something that stuck. But imagine if you've posted the same type of shorts that I post now, and I would spend hours editing them and getting super excited about them, and then you publish this art piece like Michelangelo's art piece, and you publish it, and then you get like 2 views. I posted a video 3 days ago, my first actual video, not short, since October, and I got like 10 views. So I realized that, you gotta have tough skin, and you gotta realize that you are learning, but you gotta play the game a little bit if you want to grow your channel. Now, that's a whole different discussion as to why I want to grow my channel. But you can't do it without, and I mentioned this early on the stream, this whole concept. And also shout outs to Shadow Black in the chat. That's my childhood friend. We've known each other for about 40 years. We still hanging tough. And when I play this sound, that's straight up for him. He has a channel as well. Hold on, let me if I don't know if you can hear this dog barking. Guys, can you close my door, please? Thank you. Yeah, so if you are putting all this effort in, and I've seen other people talk about this. I've seen big channels give encouragement, large channels give encouragement, and it doesn't, all they could say is keep trying, try this for X amount of days, but the game continues to change. I'll give you something that I was very shocked about. For 2 weeks, I was not getting views on a live stream, and like not much. Like it wasn't. If it's consistent, it doesn't matter what the number. If it's consistent, that's my number. I don't expect to just blow up overnight, right? That's my number, and then my number pretty much was like a fourth of what it was. And I remember that I had changed like the settings on, I'm just on a webcam here. My goal is to not spend money and to work with what you have for now. And, if things get better and improve, you could take that next step. Um, so I couldn't, it really didn't get to me why I could not explain why my numbers just tanked. And it's hard to do this type of live stream. The little bit of questions that you guys are putting in the chat is everything. The communication, when Blue Daffodil says, "Hey, Shadow," that's me being in the same room as you guys, and we're just in like a group session. And that's what I've always dreamed about, being here, right? But when you take that away and you see 0 people in here, and you're in here for 20 minutes and you're trying to make it up, next thing you know, you're dancing, and it's like, okay, well, how long can I do this for? So I started looking at, this is like a week ago, I was looking at my settings, and I realized that I reduced the aspect ratio of my camera. It was the same size, but I went from a 1080p to 800 by 600 pixels. So size wise, because it's still getting shrunken down for a vertical view, size wise is still the same, but the actual pixel density is not. The 1080p obviously being a richer quality. So I go to ChatGPT. This is the only way I think to break through the whole influence of AI, is to ask AI, why is it doing this? Does this exist? So I went to ChatGPT and started having conversations about. Thank you, Katie. It's my other best friend hockey player, Carolyn and Katie. So I started to ask questions, and I realized that YouTube and potentially other platforms, when they're judging the quality of your stream, they may be judging the size of your face. What? What do you mean? The size? Howdy, Dawn Edwards. They may be judging the size of your face. And I said, "What? That doesn't make sense to me. There's no way that would matter." Well, then it clicked, and I said to myself, You're judging me based on the size of my face for what?" And the reason they judge the size of your face is because they are saying what is good for the viewers and who they want to link you with, because all of us have profiles. The profiles in the back, when they that's what you call like a persona, right? So all of us in the background have all these data points that are attached to us, and organically they'll say, okay, these people follow SFF, and then let's send those ones who also follow this channel over here, and that should be a good candidate for size does matter. It absolutely does, right? So I obviously changed my camera back to do a test, and I realized I got my viewers back. I got back to the same average of what I was averaging. And I took a step back and I said, hold on, a lot of the cool channels that you start to see, when they're growing, you'll see stuff in the background, and you'll see all of that going on. You may see some toys in the back. Does that mean that the AI is, because it's all object recognition? So like this mic is gonna come up, there's a microphone, there's a face right there. So you're telling me that the AI is gonna know all the objects that's in my background, and then that's what's gonna help them to not only judge the quality of the stream, but where they're sending, who they're sending to the stream? And the answer is yes. And it's catch-22, because we're here both as someone streaming and other people watching content, but do we really know what's going on? And that's kind of what I do on the stream, is we talk about like cracking the code. They say up and down attracts more viewers. I struggle with that because who is deploying this technology? And I know a lot of technologists because I am one. Those are not the people that I want to judge the quality of the things that are coming out of my character, out of my mouth. So it's a numbers game, and that's really what the streaming has been about. When I realized that this is the only way that I see right now that I'm getting, some sort of buzz. Well, I can't ignore that. YouTube is giving me something, right? In fact, I don't even want to do vertical streams. I tried horizontal streams, and there's just a different audience. YouTube doesn't push the horizontal stream unless you're a bigger channel. So I know all these things, and I just try to fit into the lane that I need to. So at this point, my goal is just to do 3 touch points a day. And that's between shorts, lives, and videos, and to make sure that I'm continuing to put pressure and with the same message. Hopefully, I can't expect a day like today. This is and I would say this is just to add to the whole concept of the story. I do have a story to tell. Last October, no, it was actually, sorry, it was in the it was in the summer of 25. I was on one of my favorite channels. I'll just put it in the chat. I don't know if you guys ever come across Lead Farmer 73. He has like 350,000 subscribers, right? One of the big channels, been on here for a long time. And he had a StreamYard. And his content it's kind of mixed, but it's like homesteader at the end of the day, even though when he goes into the prepping stuff, it's just good to hear people what they say. But there's a lot of out here, you got to be careful of the fear mongering and all of that. I do what I do because for a lifestyle, it works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, and I understand that. And maybe one day this doesn't exactly work for me either. I've had to consider what that is, but it'll be really hard. It'll be so hard to pay for eggs from a grocery store. That's the one thing that would be really hard for me. It's been 5 years of walking in. The only thing that I poke my chest up about when I'm walking through the grocery store and I see people in the egg aisle, and I'm like, if you only knew. you couldn't buy my eggs. That if you only knew what I had, the gold that is sitting in my house. So I was on, he did a StreamYard, and he's just telling people, I want people to come up. And I happened to be the first person who came up. And we had an awesome conversation, and it was a similar moment where there's like, few hundred, maybe 1,000 people. And that is what I had to consider. Julson, I thought about that. I've been struggling with how the efforts and it just being me. And because I work from home, I really don't get to leave much. So I'm homesteading from a point. Sometimes it's like I don't have a choice because I can't really leave because I'm home. Kids in school. That school is so short. The school day is so short. They're here. I'm always home. And I thought if I didn't have chickens, well, you got to find your local farmer. And you got to make sure that you find the farmer that you want with the practices you want. Let me see. I know Rory Feek does a huge homestead gathering here. And, oh yeah, cool. I went to Tennessee 2 years ago. I was telling people that was an awesome experience. Yeah, I mean, you going in that region. It seems to be that's where all the the conferences and all the real fun is. And I'm kind of mixed with that because on one hand, it would be great to just leave where I am, but from a permaculture perspective, um, we're not dealing with as drastic of drought. There's things that grow here, and you kind of got to eat where you're from, and so I'm trying to figure it out. And there's one farmer that really gets me. He's more of a nomadic farmer where he spends half of the season in Maine when when it's nice in Maine, and once it's about to not be nice, he goes straight to Florida. So that's the real freedom that at the end of the day, I'm in New York. That's the real freedom that I would be chasing, is to have the leverage to be able to continue farming and meet people and communities and move across. And Darnell just talking, I'll get into what the name means, but it's kind of a negative thing, but I'm gonna turn it into a positive thing, and that's why I kind of stuck it there. No, I'm not playing Rocket League tonight. I'm just a talking head tonight. I hope if you hang out, you're more than free to hang out and enjoy. I really don't play Rocket League much on streams, but I definitely go in there. I seen your message earlier. I just had to run out the house. I seen you sent me an invite. So yeah, so I was on this stream, couple thousand people in there. My camera was set up, so I said, let's do this. So I hopped on. I had a lot of energy. I think I was super loud in the house because I put the headphones on, and I felt me like through the walls. I was like, oh my God, like, but I was killing it. So I killed it, and I did a really good job. And it seemed like I broke down the wall for him, because like if one of you came up on the stream right now and we had a really good conversation, you're helping me a ton. Even in the chat, like I said, it helps me a ton, right? So that is the enrichment. So I know I helped him because it's on his channel, it's his content. And I have another channel, but I'm really focused on one because that's the right thing to do, and I'll tell you why and what happened. I was pushing this channel called Darnell Just Homesteading. That was the name at the time. It's not up as that anymore. It's Breaking Ground with DJT, which is Darnell Just Talking. And the separation was that channel was more in line with what you saw today. And the two don't really mix. So PSK, who just chatted, he wants to play Rocket League, and the same people who play Rocket League don't necessarily turn compost. That's why I'm different. Because I'm so intrigued by my kids and what they're doing. I do it with them. I still play and have fun. I still play sports. I still hitting love on the side helps too. Absolutely, hitting the love on the side helps. I appreciate that. So, Mick the Pick is in the chat. Mick the Pick. That's my other mod, guys. Meet Mick the Pick. Between him and Shadow Black, with all the positive messages, they got what I was saying from the beginning. And every time I got down about not getting the feedback, they would tell me, you're going to be all right. Keep going, keep going. Yeah, you know what? And Dawn Edwards, I wouldn't, it is amazing. You didn't say surprise. I was going to say, you said it is amazing, but I think it's worse than that. You say canned foods. You got to have food to can, right? So younger generations, and I would put myself and my generation in it, because my peers, they don't necessarily help me to think. I played one game, PSK, one. And then I got out. I was outside turning compost. That's how I met all these good people. But my peers, my cousin, my family, even my family in the South, when I used to think South, I would think that they had an understanding. They've been near the land because I've had a couple experiences when I was a kid and we went to North Carolina with my dad. Um, and it's taught, Dawn Edwards. It's taught that way. Um, it's taught that they don't, because the people who are teaching them don't know either. So we just have this. We got the hamster wheel. You're a gamer too at 6. What do you play? That's amazing. Shout out to Dawn Edwards. I like that. That's amazing. Before we go any further, let's be friends. Yeah, no, that's amazing that you game. So I was on this stream and I did my thing, and the name that I typed in on the StreamYard was Darnell Just Talking, which is the main channel that I had. And he just right away, he says, all right, I want everybody in here, go subscribe to Darnell Just Talking. And I felt like, man, I messed up, because it was the people, just like a lot of you guys, you are in the community that I've been trying to join from the other side. I'm kind of in it from the viewer side and contributing that type of side, but from the streaming side and sharing my education, my take on things, I'm not there. I'm not a part of it. YouTube hasn't let me break through that yet. But I put the wrong name, and none of the videos that I had on this channel reflected that stuff. But I felt like when you get a buzz, like you get that kick, you gotta just keep producing content. So I did for a couple months, and it made sense, and I started to grow. But it was really because of the nice thing that he did for me, and it's very similar to today. And that was like the second time that I felt something. But I did talk to a friend about it, and I also feel deserving of it because these guys see me work hard. I come on here and I'm doing a 2-hour stream, and I really wish, like I said, I really wish it was horizontal. I'm willing to do a full production and really have fun and bring guests on and do all this stuff, but you can't do that until your channel is big enough, because it's just gonna be you in there. So this is a moment. We'll see where it goes. I think I'm going to be removing this sub goal that's at the bottom of the screen. And I do that because of just the notice that you kind of got to put people on when they come in. They should know the culture. They should understand that the culture is, what the culture is as far as what people are trying to get out of this. These are the things that are free. It doesn't take much. If you guys had channels, I'll sub to your channel. I'll watch your content because I do that live on stream. I have no problem with doing that. I actually enjoy talking about streaming, because I think that streaming, sorry if you heard me say this earlier, then I'll get back to the chat. There's no other thing that I have found. Make sure you close the door when you leave. There's no other thing that I have found that I can meet people so easily across the world that are like mine, and it does wonders for me. So Dawn Edwards says, this is how I grew up. Oh, you get corn. What's up?
Can you continue the stream with Rocket League?
No.
I feel like that was doing
Mario Kart, yeah. Not good. I don't like shooting games. The guy was asking me earlier. I'm not really a fan of shooting games. Yeah, I don't even have. I just play on the computer, the PC. You love sports? Yeah. Well, my mom. My name is Darnell. I was named after a basketball player. I think his name is Darnell Hillman. He was one of the judges of a recent slam dunk contest in the NBA. My mom grew up watching sports. She's a big New York fan. She's still one of the biggest sports fans I know, except for football. But, she knew who LT was. She knew who Lawrence Taylor was. But other than that, she's a huge New York Knicks fan, Yankees fan, just always watching sports. Have you played Metal Gear Solid? Oh, that took me back. I've played, but just passing by. I'm not really into that. Yeah, Blue Daffodil, man. It's the second time, but you know what I took from that is, and my friend who's he's a 7 day Adventist, and he, he always brings back some kind of word, which I'm fine with my friends that are, into that, and we could share, because my lived experience, I'm out here just, I'm not against any of the things, but I don't have the book knowledge right away. Studying what he studies, and he was just saying, on one hand, sure, that happened, but on the other hand, if you did not push through to get to the stream, it would have never happened. So you got to give yourself a lot of credit, and it's the same pushing through that I took a leap of faith to get on the StreamYard the first time, because man, it was 1,000 people in there, and I ain't coming in with no haircut and all. It was just a regular webcam, and I just made the moment what it was. Watching the Knicks. Yeah, Mick the Pick comes in. He gives us our Knicks updates. And look, listen here. I'm a big sports guy. Like, I may not like teams, but I probably will become a coach again. It's hard for me to tell how I'm gonna get back in. I'm connected to a lot of my old teammates are currently basketball coaches. I recently went to Section 1 finals of one of my teammates. He was in the Section 1 here in New York. Um, so I got really close friends that are rising up in basketball. They respect me a ton when it comes to the game, and how I read it. I was a really decent basketball player, very defensive minded, but I was more of a coach that was just playing. I was a I was definitely a coach. I wasn't a player. Oh, Buffalo, New York. I was there not too. I was there a couple years ago. One of my best, 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 best friends. A lot of people. I shouldn't say a lot, but I know at least two handfuls of people that went to my college that are from Buffalo. And I met this girl, really nice girl. She actually had an aneurysm about, I think, 11 years ago now. And yeah, so we go out there to hang out about one time a year. She kind of invites a bunch of people, and it's in Buffalo. And yeah, it was good times. Yeah, Blue Daffodil. Yeah, basketball, man. I played today. I messed up my collarbone. Uh, yeah, Buffalo. Yeah, so you guys, man, you guys are good. I just love, this is the dream, is to have all of the energy in the chat. And I'll tell you what, though, I will be struggling because I'm really good with the numbers and being hyper focused on, like, what I'm looking at. I think the most helpful thing when you're trying to grow a channel is to not to take everything in at once. When you go look at an analytics screen and there's so much going on, like, what do you really focus on? So I'm really good at looking at the analytics. And I was telling Mick to Pick earlier, what kind of trips me out is I need a couple days for this buzz. This is like an anomaly. So when you look at analytics, the anomaly is the only thing that's not helpful, because there's no real trend line to it. Because tomorrow I'm not gonna have a stream where hundreds of people come in. That's not gonna be the case, right? So I'm gonna struggle because I've spent so much time making sure that I'm, hitting this and hitting that. So the stream goal is gone. We know where we're going, and we're gonna just keep up the effort. Mick the Pick, he started posting on his channel. Shadow Black, my other mod, and there's a couple other people, they might come in. That's pretty much, we call us the stream team, and we've been trying to really, do this and spread that good word and good energy. That's a great story. You come, yeah, man. I would love to go all over. Sad to say that in today's world, I was laughing at it with a guy in the gym earlier, because when people hear that I'm a remote worker, they're like, man, I wish I would. I'm I don't think you understand it. I guess depending on what your job is, but if if you got a decent job, there's some money behind it. That comes with a lot of pain and drama, and a lot of times there's definitely a mental health, you know, barrier that you gotta cross, or that just kind of stays with you. And now that is entering your house, it actually lives in your house. When I remember working, you know, in person on site, there were jobs that you could leave all of that at the job, and you could leave the job. You could just in transit. You could dust all of that off. You could laugh. I mean, I'm from New York City, so I've worked in Westchester, I've worked in Long Island, I've worked in the city. You get on the 5 train in the city, you're gonna see hundreds of people on the way home, if not thousands. You might see some little critters. You definitely gonna see some birds, very limited set of birds, likely pigeons. Um, you're gonna see funny stuff. You're gonna see some homeless people. You're gonna hear some songs, and that's just on the way home. There's no way that I'm keeping all the stress that happened to me at work, so it starts to dissipate once you leave the job. In a full remote situation, you are just not there. You're just not. It's just, and I did the wrong thing. I have like an office space in my house. When I enter it on a weekday, I just feel a cloud of Mick the Pig says working remote is the best. All right, Mick the Pig. Okay. You go get some little kids now. We'll see. We'll see if you want to do that. Let me read the chat. I played slow pitch softball until I was 35, but grew up a tomboy. I don't like that term tomboy, but hey, yeah, I get it. Yeah, not much offer action with the high school with Karl Malone. Oh, Big Carl, huh? There's gonna be a day sooner than later for those hundreds of viewers. I believe that. I do believe it. But while we are in, the days that I get the downtime, and sorry I got to the message late, Cheryl. But yeah, I believe that's happening. But while the down days happen, I think you got to keep up the intensity. One thing that I've been learning is when you do make content, you got to get organized so that you could start, pulling the B-roll from the past. So I have been turning on the camera, filming stuff for years, and I am editing is one of the things that I think I do definitely above average. And it comes natural to me, and I don't need to pay all this money to get it done. So I've learned that, and I got to be better about that. And that's going to help in the down days. The good days are good, and the down days, they could be down. KD says, I work remotely too. Medical records, the best job you ever had. Yeah, that means you probably got a lot of free time. And hey, I understand that. Supervisor, veteran, home, 20 years, 29 years in nurse. Shout outs to you. I'm very familiar with the nursing field. Yeah. This is your free time at night when teenagers are not. Yeah. Oh, I know. I put my kids on the bus and I take them off. So I know I'm very much so a part of the day to day. I also feel like I can't go anywhere because when things happen at school, um, you feel a need to be there, which is not like how I grew up because unless I had the flu, I think I was in school. And there's a negative impact to that. Do 12-hour shifts. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Shadow Black says real talk. Shadow Black is out there with the troop as well, man. Yeah, you could not work remote. It's actually like I'll be honest. It depends on what you do. Sometimes I struggle because the gift and the curse. Not to I don't like using that term that much, but what it is I'm a very skilled person, and the world is hard. It's to me the world is harder on skilled people who don't have necessarily the floodgates just open up for them, right? So I'll give you an example. I have been doing so one technology in web is called CSS, cascading style sheets, um, HTML and JavaScript. And I'm not gonna get technical with it, but I started teaching myself, like probably many of you, because if you go back to MySpace days, we had more flexibility. If you go back to GeoCities and tripod.com, we were making websites. Like this Wix technology is not like a new thing. We were making websites. Um, so I started learning this stuff deeply, like when I was young. And so let's say I have like 30 years of working with that technology. At my age, early 40s, I can't go to a company and be like, I've been working with that for 30 years. So there's something that's unfair. So my unfair advantage is that if you hire me or you get me in, you're going to get mastery in that technology because I've been working for it for 30 years. But at some point, I still can't sell the fact that I've been doing something for 30 years. So it's a catch 22. So I struggle because I think that I'm always working above my position. And it's really hard to sit back and not do that, because it's the skill. I'm so skilled that when you hand me something, that's not for me. That's for someone else. But that's just my story. And just catch up in the chat. He was not big in high school. Like you talking about Karl Malone. He buffed out in college. Yeah, I think he was 6'8" in the NBA, throwing a lot of elbows. Thought about doing a channel talking about living with teenagers and shenanigans and daily. Man, one of my playlists is called Land Shenanigans. So, Cheryl, I'm right there with you. I'm not at the teenager phase yet. I'm worried, but I think I handled myself well. I just think I need a break. I think that all sums it up. I just think I need a break because the amount of care and interest that me and my wife put into our children from the start, and then when we moved, of course, we moved to give them a better life, which was the truth because where we were at in the Bronx, it wasn't working out the way that we designed it in our head. So when we found a good enough school district and we moved on, um, it was a no-brainer to move on. But when you move away from your family and help, you move away from your family and help. And that I didn't think that I was doing that. But that's kind of what it is. So we got at this point. Yeah, it probably wouldn't blow my mind. So Cheryl, another thing that I used to do, I grew up in a lot of boys and girls clubs and like after school programs, and I actually ended up one of my first jobs out of college. I was a physical education director, so I used to have 180 kids a day, 6 sessions of 30 kids each, hour after hour, and then an hour program, like actually doing the programming, and then an hour for lunch. And that was my shift 5 days a week. So I've also worked in a high school, and I worked in a junior high school. So I don't know if this story is gonna blow my mind too crazy because I've seen a lot. Oh, well, oh man, that sucks. Friday in Tennessee, a bus crossed over the yellow line, was hit by a garbage. 2 kids died. Man, oh man, sorry for their families. Yes, you could build your sites. Yeah, we used to have sites. Let me get those premiums from Napster, Kazaa. Yeah. Oh no, I got a we had a night where we spoke about that on stream. I got a letter from, I want to say it was Optimum or no, it was Cablevision, and they sent me a letter saying, we're gonna fine you $250,000. And the crazy part is they had the show that I downloaded, but I didn't download the show. And this is to your point. We used to download because it was free, and it was like when something's free, you just don't think about it. I had downloaded something that I did not intend to watch, and it was the wrong name. I didn't delete it. I just downloaded it, and that's the one thing that I got in trouble for. And I started looking different about it because my mom was looking at me like, bruh, 250,000. I'll still be working this thing off. I would still be working that off right now. Just do a video. So who was the one that said about the high school story? Because it was Cheryl. Okay, yeah, just start the channel, please. If anything you need help with, just pointers. I have a Discord. We could talk. We could figure this out. My sister's actually starting a channel. She does content. Her daughter's autistic. My niece is autistic, and she does content from the mom side about parenting with the autistic child. And we're working with her, and I actually have content coming about me and her, as siblings and things we grew up with. You want to move to the country rather? Yeah. Well, to your point, Cheryl, about moving to the country or just not working with people, I stopped working with people. I remember I was working in a junior high school, and I felt it was too early for what was coming out of it. I worked at an all-girls school at one point, and I felt it was too early. It was like 7 a.m., and the type of negativity that would come out of these little girls' mouths, I was like, nah, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready. And it still takes me about an hour. It doesn't matter that I work from home. It takes me an hour to convince myself that I'm going to be working for the day and the people that I'm going to be working with. And I kind of have to dress myself up and my mind up to work with people. But when I was at the school, I said I wouldn't work with people again. And that's when I got to working with computers, being a software engineer. And when I switched over to doing that, the drawback is the people again. So it's like, it's not, you can't really avoid it at some point. Hawaii. Wow. Oh, you were okay because of the Air Force. Yeah. It's your birthday Tuesday. Your kid's best friend. Remember my birthday Tuesday. Okay. Happy birthday. Yeah. Fines are no joke. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, we see HIPAA all the time in what I do. Everybody wants to be compliant. Oh, no worries, man. I think I actually don't think that streaming is the way to go. Like, I feel like when you meet enough people, I see some popular streamers do this. Like, I don't watch Tasha K, if you guys know who that is, but I was watching the channel discuss something about Tasha K, and she had a background like video chat with like 20 like-minded folks. And so to me, that is the chat. Like, you guys are very active in the chat, and I'm totally fine making a stream about the conversation and where it shifts. And I veer off every now and then, but my brain is able to keep up for now. But that means that you need to have like this group of people. YouTube is really just a meeting place. This is like the chat roulette. This is the speed dating. And then eventually you find your community, and then your community organically gets to dictate what you want to do with that community. And that's how people hold each other accountable. And once people think that the YouTube is everything, I think that's where you kind of struggle, because then there's expectations on both sides, and you're watching people grow and grow and grow. Yes, people get bigger. They're not gonna have time to have conversations, with everybody. But that's not where I'm going. Um, yeah, I would love to talk to. I think you said his name is Justin. Like I said, he was in the chat a few times. Respectfully, when people come in, I try my best to read the name or read something that's in the name. And when I see GOAT, I think of greatest of all time. So whenever I saw his name a few times, I definitely called it out, and I'll just read it like just phonetically, like the GOAT farmer. And I'll just talk. He says nice things, and then I'm doing whatever I'm doing, and yeah, I didn't expect that though. Oh, 34 son has autism. 3-year-old girl also. Wow. Yeah, no, I'm letting my sister ride through with that. But I've got to experience it as an uncle. And feeling, not being the parent is so intense. Just speaking to that for a second, it's so intense that it's really hard. I'm on the outside and it's hard, but you know, I care a ton, and I'm still trying to figure it out as a family member. And I was telling my sister that I follow so much content from whether it be family members of people with autism or just kids that are really high functioning that kind of have their own channel or just being help managed. I follow this one guy. He has Down syndrome. He's actually he's my favorite YouTuber. His channel is rocking. I mean, I would love for you guys to check out. His name is CJ, and he's in the South, and he's around a lot of love in his family, and you could tell that he's watched the people around him for years because he always asked them to like pour him a drink, and he'll come around with a cup of ice and he's shaking it up because he wants them, like, he'll have some mixer in it, and they don't want him to drink, but he's of age now or whatever, so they'll fake the drink, and eventually, after some time, he caught on to the fact that they were faking. But then when they pour him like a little drop, and he act like he's drunk like 1 second later. So it's just like it's the funniest thing. He's one of my favorite creators. But I grew up a little different. Like I ask people because I don't understand why people don't see what I see. But I remember Corky on TV. He had Down syndrome, and I forgot the name of the show he was on, but I remember me and my sister used to sit and watch this, and I remember a moment where my mother had to correct someone in my house because they were laughing at what was going on with Corky and not understanding why he was on TV, and I knew right away, like, you don't treat people like that, you treat people like people. So I've just always been different with that. My nephew that builds Minecraft is high functioning autistic. Yeah. Have to be there. Yeah. Yeah. I get that. Maybe hopefully as a society we could get better. I mean, we're struggling with the elderly as well and what to do. I don't know if you guys seen, but there's been articles for years about people who don't have anybody for them, and the system is pretty much there for them at the end. So a lot more people need placement as they get older. So we got to do a better job of just connecting as a community so we could take care of each other. What's up, dog? Kenzo, what's up? Kenzo IQ. Oh, he works for the state now. Cool. When I was in school, a lot of high functioning kids they were working at Sodexo at the school. Oh, he's on his own. Cool. Cool, Dawn. Yeah. If you know, you know. Needed to change that and someone got into like, oh, Buffalo Bills Stadium. My same friend from Buffalo, she's a season ticket holder. Yeah, I love when the chat is talking to the chat. That is what's up. Yeah, ooh, that burnout. We all get it. You would love to is see. I'll find this channel. In fact, if you guys don't mind, we could watch a video of his. I like to do that as well. Let me just give me 1 second to pull this up. Oh, his is funny. His face. CJ always fighting. Hold on, I don't know if you guys want to watch a. Yeah, she worked for them. Yeah, I said Sodexo. She worked for them in school kitchen. Yep, yep. That was a good path for the kids. I was upstate in New York, and that was Oh, oh, please put his channel in the chat. I'll follow him. I like to see that stuff. I'm so intrigued by their mind. It's bar none. I get a little jealous sometimes, to be honest with you. Oh, this I found the perfect one. Oh, they got music on it. Hold on, let me find one without music. Yeah, no, I got it. Double Cup who? Okay. So this is uh DJ CCTV. He's one of my favorite creators. And I mean creator.
Got a double cup it, cuz.
Let me just
It
restart.
ain't real, so you got a double cup it, cuz. It ain't real, so you double cup it, cuz. What that mean, double cup, cuz? I'm trying to help you. I got help. Ow.
So he he's always teasing people. I don't know. He's having like a he see the one thing. Look, I love his channel. I don't necessarily like the fighting because he does it because obviously he's reacting to what he has seen. He's probably the best dressed person on YouTube. He's literally probably the best. This guy is fresh. But when I say they they treat him with so much love. That's DJ CCTV. That is my guy, man. Yeah. People, I don't know. I just think it's normal to just show love cuz they love unconditionally when they're going through those things, and it's hard for them to express it, but they through the love. Yeah, mine still doesn't like to be around a lot of people. Still has texture issues. I mean, I'm no professional. When I've seen a lot of I worked in the school system at one point, and you do get certain people there that may have those issues. It's certain people just unlock certain people. It's just the connection. So just never know. Worked for Dexo 15 years ago, elementary school for 6 years. Oh, cool. First and third. Mainstream. I haven't heard that in a while, man. I had some friends that were on mainstream. Oh man. One even refused his Valentine he got for her. Yeah, teachers and coaches are tough, man. Oh, life goes on. Thank you for that. That was the show. I mean, again, this content stuff is not hard because of the color that we've seen growing up. I watch a lot of 70s TV still. My kids are being look at this. My kids, they watch Gunsmoke, Matt Dillon. They watch Gunsmoke. They watch Sanford and Son. They watch The Jeffersons. Um, I watch a little All in the Family, but I don't know if they've actually come in on that. But I just think that we've seen so much. Uh, I need a better word than diversity, because it's not diversity in terms. I'm not talking about a nationality or ethnic group. Diversity is the right word, but it's from a content perspective. So our minds are different, because the same world that is chaotic and the things that people struggle to connect and bond with, I don't think we had those same struggles. I mean, Corky was on TV, right? There was no struggle. And it wasn't forced. It was not forced. It was, watch this show. Show was good. Yeah, life goes on, man. I'm gonna check out a couple episodes, and that's the other thing with YouTube. It's like being able to, one night, we were watching like nostalgic old commercials. I do that in my house too. I'll just watch like old commercials. Like what's the one that I love the most is Crossfire. Crossfire. That was awesome. Interpreter for the Deaf. Was shot came to school. You love Gunsmoke? That is my show. I tell you what, someone asked earlier, tell me about yourself. I'm about to get deep. I don't know if I'm getting deep, but if Shadow Black is still in the chat, he could attest to this. I had a lot of problems in high school. I was an avid is it truant? That's the right word. I had a lot of problems with making it to school. Ironically, I never had a fight. And Bonanza, yeah, I watched Bonanza too. I never had a fight. Never had any kind of disciplinary action. And in hindsight, I'm pretty sure the way that schools are set up now and the way social work is, I'm pretty sure I just needed to talk to somebody about what I was going through. My school was too big. We had 5,500 students in my school, 8 floors and escalators. It was like being in one massive movie of House Party. And it was just too big. It was too much going on. And because in my years leading up to high school, I was very much so in gifted class. Always a top math student in my school, and then it's like you put me into Gen Pop, and so I found my outlet through cutting school, and when I would cut school, I would watch Gunsmoke and Bonanza and CNBC. And trade stocks. And so here you have, so I have a very weird relationship with academia, because here you have the evidence of a person who, I don't think there's something that I wouldn't be able to do if I put my mind to it. But you said it, Juzon, you said it perfectly, because that's what I've always said since I was a kid. Slip through the cracks. And they let me slip through the cracks. They didn't know what they had. And I ended up getting kicked out of the New York City school system. I've never said that on stream, so you guys are getting the depth here. And Shadow Black, what I said he could attest to, he's probably the reason that I was able to peacefully evade like real things happening during the daytime that could have steered me in a direction that wasn't a good one, because his house was like a safe haven of mine, and I was able to go to his house almost every day. So I'm actually somewhat proud of my attendance record. It was really bad. I've been proud up until the moment when I tried to explain to my kids, and they kind of give it back to me in a way I don't like to hear them say it out loud, because they don't understand what I was going through and why I made the decisions that I made. She said, dude, all my husband watches Gunsmoke. I was just talking about, I went to Tractor Supply 2 days ago, and it was a lady in there. She was up in some age, and I mentioned something about Gunsmoke, and she was just smiling. And I was like, why didn't Matt Dillon and Kitty get together? I don't understand why they didn't get together. And then I said, that was some amazing writing, because for almost 20 years, you got these two people that have been smiling in each other's eyes, but they never got together. And when you watch it now, because of all the Me Too stuff we went through, and it's amazing to see Kitty hold it down, and respectfully, she's always trying to defend the females and set the story straight. Oh, don't mention Golden Girls. Yeah, that's my show. I gotta get audio of that. I would think I got a question for the chat. What do you think? Since you mentioned Golden Girls, what do you think in that era? What do you think is the most impactful, like, show that like all of us watch? Like right now, I feel like I don't see anyone not in America. Culturally, I think late '80s, early '90s, we were all doing the same thing. Is Golden Girls like the top show that everyone just watched? Man, getting lost in the cracks. Espinoza, I cannot sing. That is one of the things. Now, I sing more than most. The people in my house will tell you, I am super musical. I am all the time. Am I singing? I'm playing music, but I cannot sing. I'm trying to work on playing the guitar. I'm trying to, once I, in my 100 days of streaming, I probably will getting the time to play the guitar serious. My father I should say he's alive, but he doesn't drum anymore since he had a stroke. And but my father was a drummer, and so I kind of have that music gene. You had no choice but to be smart. 13 classmates. Easy to stand out if you fail. Yeah, wow, 13 classmates. Well, most of the ball players where I come from, they didn't have to go to class, but that's a whole nother story. So it's a numbers game, Carolyn. The thing is, I'll tell you my record because I'm not ashamed of it. I love that, Dawn. Raise your GD. Same here. Um, but I have an interesting story about the GD. And it wasn't really made for me. Like I wasn't supposed to get a GD, but it happens, and you kind of got to move on with it. But what was I about to say? Yeah, so my attendance record, I was absent. So there's 90 days in a semester. I was absent 69 out of 90 days. So I used to go to school one day and not come for a week, and then I would come back, pass a test, not come for 2 weeks, come back a couple of days. It was touch and go, man, touch and go. I got my GED as well. Ooh, 15. Yeah. No, I mean, it's, you don't choose anyone else's path, Dawn. So your path is your path. And I'm glad that you fought what you needed to fight. And you're still here. So I consider there's some luck that's involved in a lot of people, pretty much everyone's stories. Yep. Cheryl, I'm going to get to it. Let me just get this one point out. I look around, having grown up around, and a lot of people. It's just a lot of people, and a lot of close friends that didn't make it. I have a friend who's doing life, and his earliest parole date, and I've said this to myself every year, and it's crazy that next year is his earliest eligible parole date, and this is a kid that I've pretty much played, was in the crib with, and he was a good kid, and it only took a couple years of going in a different direction, and you would think at one point we're living a parallel story, and even with me not going to school, I didn't have a destiny to be behind bars somewhere to do something to get there. But this is the stuff that lives in my head with all these experiences. So all I can do is, not to say that I would crash out if I don't tell a story, but it's a good thing to be honest about what I've seen and why I do the things that I do. Facts of life. Three's Company, Dallas, Knight Rider, Chips. Oh yeah. Out of those, I would say Facts of Life for me. Facts of Life. That's what. Is that what Nell Carter? I feel like that's the Nell Carter one. Oh no, this is with Tootie. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Kim, I think Tootie's name is Kim Fields. Yeah. Have you guys seen? I think it's not gonna be on anymore, but the Mike Epps show with Kim Fields. She's still out there, getting on some really good shows. Mike Epps show on Netflix. Not Mike Epps and Wanda Sykes. I think they got discontinued now. Fragile Rock, my all-time favorite cartoon. Fraggle Rock, right? Yeah, Fraggle Rock. Yeah. I watch I Love Lucy. Oh man, I like cause of Pluto TV. I mean this stuff. Give me a break, Nell Carter. Yeah. No, it's just Nell Carter. Like as a young black guy, a lot of people like that reminded me of people in my family I kind of gravitated to. Oh yeah, Different Strokes. Of course, Good Times. Can't forget Good Times. But what's that's your top Dawn? Different Strokes, Good Times, and Jeffersons. Yeah. JJ. Carol Burnett. Yeah, I love me some Carol Burnett, man. Love me some Carol Burnett. Yeah. You only had a 7th grade math level. Yeah, you hated school, never studied. You know what's funny is that when I look back in hindsight, I hated school, but it wasn't really school. It was it wasn't the academic part. It wasn't the learning part. It was how a school district passes down the standards of what and how you learn, which passes down to a teacher that is a good teacher or not a good teacher. Socially, I think that people in my community, not my community, the black community, but where I was living at in the Bronx, there's a lot of social aspects that helps us to, grow and face the world. And because we're living in a city where you could be dead broke, get on a train with somebody who has millions of dollars, that's a real tough dynamic to be in. Usually, you poor people with poor people, middle class is with middle class, and the others are the others. But I find New York City to be a weird melting pot because I've been on the train with Bloomberg, plenty of times. And it's like, this is where we live. So as a kid, if you identify with that, you kind of know what your lane is. I remember just to that point, this one thing always go back to it. Then I'll get back to the chat. Barack Obama, who's not one of my favorite people in the world, but I dig it. Barack is cool. Really smart guy at the end of the day, whether I like him or not. But Barack Obama said something at the NAACP. I think it was, I forgot what anniversary they had, but he had an award and he spoke. And he spoke about when he was a community organizer, how he would go to young kids and he would see, it didn't matter where they came from, what their background was. All the kids at, let's say, age 5 and 6, they all had the same eyes. They would all be super like they had dreams and hopes. You know how you always ask kids, "What do you want to be when you grow up, Timmy?" And it's like there's an age where the kids still have hope. And Barack told a story that he went back to the same kids, and they were around 11 or 12, and he said all the kids that were in poverty, they all had different eyes than the other kids. So the other kids continued to have these gloomy, like this dream. They were still dreaming. They were still into fun. Whereas the other kids, life became super serious for them, partly because of what they seen, the reality of who's around you. If all of my older cousins, aunts, uncles, parents, everyone I'm connected to doesn't do anything, why do I think that I could overcome that? They've beat me down with that over time, you know? Okay, what did I miss? We had he haw on Saturday night. Cosby Show, absolutely. You gotta remove the man from the show. The show. One of my favorite creators, Dewan B. He says, and I don't know if this is his words, but I've heard him say it a bunch. There are no perfect messengers, but perfect messages. So just gotta read through it. Hee-haw. Learned French in the 3rd grade. 1 year. That's how he got. Oh, why? Why? I homeschooled my last child because of struggles that I tried. We're still in a. I would say we haven't come to the agreement. There are things I like about. So like the only thing I would say is when we got to this school district, there's a lot of activities. The one thing that I think is hard for a school district coming from my background is it comes back to not only the social aspect, but there's definitely a disconnect with when Black History Month comes around. I always say this is kind of like a joke, but it's not. The most hated month for most teachers is Black History Month. When March is about to come in, they're like, whew. And it's not just the teachers, it's the school district. So I wish somebody would put together a program, and it's not because they don't want to teach this stuff, it's because the disconnect. So it's hard for people to reach for something that they don't understand. So I just wish that people, and one, whether we need it or we don't, that's not really, I'm not into the politics of that. Right now it's there. And I'm just calling out that sometimes, like with my family, I struggle because my kids are in the suburbs and they're going to be a very small percentage have the inflection of, their story, and what they're being taught sometimes is important, just to not have too much ignorance on both sides. The IEPs and all that, yeah. Hawaii was a melting pot, and you can't understand them. Yeah. We are all human. So the skin is the same thing. Absolutely, human first. Yeah, no, you're right about that. Malcolm Jamal Warner, yeah, that's one of the tragedies that the internet really, it bothers me how fast the information moves on. I don't even think that was a few months ago, and it's like you get your moment in the to shine. It was traumatic, so it wasn't expected. You get your moment. CNN might do a little, if anyone even still watches that, but they tend to do probably the best job of pulling together a little short when somebody passes on, and a lot of people pull together to have nice words for them, which is good. But because we're on the internet, and this goes back to like the algorithm, you don't hang on to people in their story, like when they pass. And I think it's just me personally, it becomes like the opposite of how you just grieve for people. It's not really, you don't really grieve. And if anything, you just grieve independently. Like you're not really sharing it. And these people like Malcolm Jamal Warner, that's a shared experience because we all grew up watching them. That week, I was watching Malcolm and Eddie because I've been watching on Pluto TV. They had like the Black Classics channel, and that's where I would watch 227, The Jeffersons, Sanford and Son, and then they had the younger shows, and Malcolm and Eddie would come on. I love that show, and hearing Eddie Griffin talk about the fact that they didn't even really talk to each other much, I thought was amazing because the show came out amazing, and it really shows how much of professionals they are. So that same week, I was watching Malcolm and Eddie, and it's like, until you said that, I don't really hear much vibrations about it. So we don't really share that with other people. It's like we go back into our silo, to our screen, and that kind of lives within there. But yeah, he had an amazing impact on pretty much all of our childhoods. I was watching A Different World when he came on, and it's just like, man, it was just a great person, great person. It just sucks. People like that, I don't think, get their flowers in this internet world, this generation. 227, yeah, that's what wasn't her name Brenda on 227. She's the one who made she was the voice in that cartoon. Yeah, what is her name? Blinking. Hold on. Why am I blinking? I know her name was Brenda in it. Because she was a child actor at the time. Yeah, Regina King. Yeah. Yeah, and actually, let me put this on the screen. Marla. Dude, is she still alive? What? Yeah, we need to have a parade for Miss Marla Gibbs. Wow. She was so funny on the Jeffersons too. I was too young to realize how these shows spent off. Welcome Back, Carter. Yeah, that's a good one. I was too young to realize how all these shows like spinned off. Um, like I think was Good Times a spinoff of All in the Family, if I'm not mistaken. Um, she is still alive, but I was talking about Regina King. Yeah, yeah. She probably has one of the largest. I don't know how you would say it, but the amount of things she's done as an actress, director, and producer is insane. Insane. But these are not the people that they talk about. Mama Jefferson. Is that Blue Daffodil? Is that a yes to the spinoff? Yep, yep. There you go. Thank you. Yes, George was Archie's neighbor. Yeah. Yeah, oh, it is 227. Sorry, 227 was a spinoff of, yeah, All in the Family. Yep. And I was, at one point, I was looking at the numbers of, I think All in the Family. I'm an 80s baby, so a lot of this came in syndication for me. So when these shows were out on TV in the 70s, apparently All in the Family was battling against Sanford and Son, and apparently they were going like back and forth. And I was doing some research on that because I just found it super interesting. And I love when I watch these shows, I see two sides of it based on where we are now in like this kind of sensitive world. I see how racially how we got along, and it seems so much easier. And at times the language is worse, but it's like it's easier. It's a understanding. And when I watch those shows, I see it, I feel it, and it's like we just live in a whole different world. Oh, of course, I like Sanford and Son better than Archie, but I think it's for me, it's just the connection that Sanford and Son. My dad was like, he embodied um, the character. He wanted to run a junk business. So I have that in my spirit. Like, I guess I'm Lamont in the show. Oh, Chico, yeah, yeah, Chico. I like Chico. It was funny. And then Grady. You know what's so crazy? I gotta find. I think like a year ago, I did a live stream. This is obviously before my streak. I did a live stream, and it was horizontal, and I had just watched the Sanford and Son episode, so I chopped up pieces of it. It was the one where Chico, um, he had a goat, and it was just some things that they were saying to each other, and I came on the stream to discuss it. Esther, oh, I love Esther. I came on the stream to discuss it, and I was so excited about having that discussion. And when I got on here, it's like, it's like no one's here. So yeah, it's just I just gotta follow my heart. But yeah, that's all me, man. I'm not supposed to know all of that. A lot of my peers, they may have seen those shows, but I watch those shows. I still watch those shows. It helps me. I didn't realize how much teaching was in that type of content, because when my kids watch it, they're getting a history lesson of the world. Even though they want to say you're old or whatever, but I watch them watching it, and they get a history lesson of how people interacted at one point. And it's not, I can't say that. It's hard to mimic that, so I appreciate still having those shows on. Oh yeah, the Brady Bunch. American Bandstand. I never seen that. Oh, of course, Soul Train. I'm a little too. American Bandstand wasn't as much in syndication when I was watching TV, but Soul Train for sure, because it was still on. Soul Train went from the R&B and soul music, and they made it all the way up to the origins of rap, which kind of kind of killed it. There's different dance moves on there. It was a lot harder, the dance moves. But yeah, we've spoken about Soul Train on here. Don Cornelius, Love, Peace, and Soul. I wish that got more headlines, because that him coming on TV every week and spreading love, peace, and soul is like, it hits different in 2026 for real. It really does. Great 3 o'clock movies, Monster Week. I was telling them about WPIX in New York. They used to have every October. It was called Shocktober. Yeah, no, that all of that was awesome. And it was, man, I used to be so afraid of King Kong. I used to tell my mom I had dreams of King Kong peeking in the window in the bathroom. Yeah, that was some scary stuff. But yeah, we lived. And not to say that the kids don't live now, but it definitely was more of a human experience. The Munsters, absolute Eddie Munster. Yeah. Yeah, Don Cornelius he had a golden voice. When you look back, the production on Soul Train was top tier. I don't know. Did they ever put out a movie of Soul Train? Because I remember seeing something about like that was kind of an independent production because they didn't want to. Nobody wanted to fund that. Yeah, several movies with King Kong. Yeah, yeah. If not, if it's not a movie, it should be. Um, they've put so many acts on. A lot of times when you do research on YouTube and you're looking for old songs, my favorite, one of my favorite, and this is my favorite artist of all time is probably Curtis Mayfield. And when I watch like his live stuff, man, oh man, there's an unofficial doc on Curtis Mayfield. Do you guys know Curtis Mayfield? I know you do. Well, I'm just asking if you do. I watch a lot of the shows you're talking about. For me, I was obsessed with Elvis in his movies. Oh, you was an Elvis person. Yeah, we stayed outside. It's too dangerous. We were never worried about being snatched. Nah, I worried about the other person. Even in the city, we had a couple of times where there was some crazies. I remember as a kid, like this one guy was called the Hammerman, and Hammerman was on the loose. He was just hitting people with a hammer. But other than that, I think people would be afraid of what me and my friends would do to them, rather than trying to get one of us. Yeah, you've met Priscilla twice. Her son have hung out. She is so sweet. Only on vinyl. I gotta actually gotta bring it back out. I'm probably gonna get another record player and start doing more of an investment into vinyl again. Yeah, I have my favorite album on vinyl is I have the original Wiz the play version of the Wiz, not the Michael Jackson Diana Ross one. That's probably my favorite movie of all time, The Wiz. Oh yeah, we were outside too. We were definitely outside. Uh get hit with a broom, a switch, a leather belt, electric, any man. But we lived and this is the nostalgic vibe. We definitely lived the time, and I don't think people realize how amazing. Like if you're a '70s baby and '80s baby, late '70s, early '80s is pretty much the same thing. And man, we watched music go from one end of the spectrum to the other. Salina. That's yeah, Selena, Whitney. Man, we lived. Okay, reconnected. Sometimes I get a little blip. Sometimes I get a little blip. We waited by the radio for the countdown. So not only that, I was recording stuff off the radio, pressing that play and record button, two sides of the tape. Oh, we should be back, Katie. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing stopping us from bringing those days back. I feel like we have to put pressure. We have to get creative. Matter of fact, since you guys are talking all that stuff, um, just to show you that I'm really legit about this stuff. I didn't even think about it, but we had a whole night of talking about. So this you tell me what this is. If you still here, you tell me what this is. So we did some show and tell, and I've gone back and like done some nostalgia chats, and this didn't get mad at ourselves for missing a song that we wanted to record. Yeah, yeah, Katie, that this is it. This is my Sega Genesis. This is the second form factor of the Sega Genesis, and this is my original. You see the year? Let me see. 1985.
Wow.
This is my original. So, little Darnell just talking. Little Darnell just talking. Used to point at the screen with this. I have like a nice case of some little figurines and things that I kind of grew with. Yeah, you remember your kids having that? Yeah. Well, that was my era. I had an Atari. I started with an Atari, and then because we ain't had the money, we used to get the system not the first year it came out, but the second year. That's kind of why. That's why I have this Genesis, because the wide one was the first one that came out. Same system, but they changed the form factor. Oh yeah, 8 tracks. Yeah, I was blessed to my family. They had like a music a music machine or a stereo. I don't know what they called it, but it was a wooden case, like a chestnut case, and it had the 8 track in it. I remember the cars. Some people's cars still had 8 track when I was really young. You had 1-2 pong. Yep. Yeah, 80s baby. Yeah, we still around. You work at an auction here. Oh, see all the antiques. That's cool. They have an auction show that comes through my town. I definitely got to go to. I don't like spending money though. That's I don't like spending money. Yeah. You have a Saturn? Wow. Wow. Sega Saturn. That's probably one of my favorite systems, even though it got discontinued. I was into it. So I had a Sega Genesis, then Sega CD, then 32X, and then a Sega Saturn. And I thought it was a very competitive system at the time. And I think it's just the business. I was too young to understand, but my understanding of it was just a business. Yeah, a lot of games. The machine would eat tape like crazy. Yep, that's one of the drawbacks. I'm still dealing with that now because I'm trying to get. I have an old mini DV cam and I still have tapes. Oh, you got GameCube? That's cool. That's cool. And I'm trying to get the stuff off of the mini DV tapes. But I gotta find a head cleaner, and I don't have like a store that specializes in that old stuff around me. So, and B&H is super far, but they don't. All of that stuff is discontinued. So there's people on eBay that's kind of hoarding that. So I gotta pay $30 to get a little piece of tape to clean a head cleaning tape to clean out my old camera so that I can get all this footage off of it. Oh, he shipped it to you. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, no, I played some games, some retro games on the stream. Really, it's just how I feel. And the audience, you guys, it's so weird. This is probably my first night having. When I say mature, don't get offended. Mature from the sense of the fact that sometimes there's young folks in my chat, like young folks, um, like 11, and when I start talking about this nostalgic stuff, it's probably not gonna work. They say bye real quick.
Unless you're playing a game.
Why you not asleep?
Don't know.
Go to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting to hear. I still hear I don't know why my kids are up. It's probably because I'm doing this, but they are proud of me. So I'm gonna wind this thing down. You guys have been awesome. If you don't mind, I usually end the stream. If you guys have one last, I'll take a last question. If just to get out of here, because I know it was kind of abrupt. But my son came in, and when he comes in and I'm on stream, he does this like side talk to me, but it's way too late, and he got to get up tomorrow. So I usually play like some of my fun shorts that I have, just to give people more of a sense of the content that I have. Katie, don't go just yet. I got you. We're gonna do it. Thank you so much, Carolyn, Katie, Dawn, Blue Daffodil. It was really fun. Like I said, what makes my stream unique, at least at this moment, the variety of topics. I need Mick the Pick to tell me to shorten it up and to say, just talk about chickens. Because we can go anywhere and back, and that's okay. Come to 7-Eleven in the morning, give Jay a hard time. Look at the baby. Okay. Yeah. I want to look at the baby goats. I'm going to be on his channel to learn about goats. Cheryl says, have an amazing night, everyone. Yeah. No, this is awesome. And, I will keep it up. So this is my 55th straight night. Tomorrow, God willing, we wake up and we'll be able to see each other again. I usually post maybe a short in the daytime, and then I'm outside working either at lunch or after work. Outside, it's gonna be a nice day. Just on the beach, love the conversation as well. It's gonna be a nice day outside. I think it's hitting either 60 or 70 tomorrow, which is nice for where we're coming from. And yeah, so I'll definitely be outside on the move, and I'll go live then. And if I don't catch you then, you could catch you some other time. If you guys have channels, please ping me the channel. I'll go to it, subscribe, check out your content as well. But yeah, this has been real. We usually end the stream with saying don't be a sucker for love, so I ain't gonna switch up on nobody. Peace. Mick the Pick says W stream. I'm gonna just play some of my videos if you guys want to stick around for a minute or two, just to see some of the shorts that absolute W stream. This was all love. Really appreciate you guys. Peace.
Today, we train for the 2030 Winter Olympics. Let's do it.
But here by the fire we defy frost and storm. Ha-ha, we are warm and we have our heart's desire. For here's for good fellows and the beechwood and the bellows, and the cup is at the lip in the pleasant fellowship. Oh, here by the fire we defy frost and storm. Ha-ha, we are warm and we have our heart's desire. For here's for good fellows and the beechwood.
Like when be the death.
Men's League is about going home to your family and going to work the next day. Nothing else. This don't have nothing to do with skills at this point. You ain't gonna talk to me like that. There was always music and entertainment to come back to help enrich the love.
It ain't my fault you're not subscribed.
It's Star Season, Night Edition. Let's go get some eggs. Ride with me.
Oh, shit. Oh, goddamn. I'm in the snow. Hold on. Oh, I can't see. Oh, it better be worth it. All these goddamn... It's kind of dark, but it's not really dark. Because I guess the reflection of the snow. But it's dark enough that I shouldn't be out here like this.
But it is thaw season. Let's get these eggs. It's thaw season, and we got eggs. Check me out on the nightly stream.
It ain't my fault you're not subscribed. Subscribe.
After 25 days of streaming every night, I'm not only just chilling, but I'm outside. I'm outside, people. One take.